I'm Mark Small, Civil Discourse Now. This will be a short episode this evening, just letting you know that tomorrow, Ingrid E Baptista is an activist in New York, is going to be on. We're going to talk about Amendment 14, Section 3. And actually, it's a disqualification of individuals who engaged in insurrection. Now, here's a problem with what we have going on right now, just so everybody's clear. Trump will install himself as a dictator if he raises a little hand to take the oath on January 20th. He'll be a dictator. Anybody that's saying, well, we can work on the next elections, there won't be any elections. Well, I mean, in 2 years, there won't be anything in 2 years. He has his orders. He got a whole bunch of money from Russia because they don't do business with American banks anymore. That was what one of his sons said. And that means that he owes Putin, because Putin's head of the crime family called Russia. So Trump will install himself as a dictator. We won't have elections. Now, he engaged in an insurrection in 2020. And if you want to say, well, you know, he said it was bad then. You guys are saying something was wrong this time, 2024. Let's everybody walk away. If he's a dictator, he won't. He can sit there and say, well, 2020 was invalid, illegal, so I'm going to wipe out anything Biden did. And if you think that that's an exaggeration, you haven't been watching very well. So what we have is somebody who would install himself as a dictator. Now, short term, President Biden uses emergency powers that he has as president of the United States, then we will have a shorter period of time. It'll be authoritarian rule, also known as dictatorship. But how else do we do something such as oppose somebody who's supported by a foreign power and really doesn't give a damn about you or anyone else except himself? So at least, as Ho Chi Minh said, and I quoted him yesterday on my blog, in 1946 or 47, he had agreed that the French could come into North Vietnam, was what we called it later. But he said, actually, all of Vietnam, he said, they can come in for 5 years. He made an agreement. And he caught a lot of flack from people in his homeland. He said, why'd you do that? He said, because we don't, the Chinese are going to be there and stay. Now, the French are newcomers, and they don't know what they're doing, and they're going to be gone pretty soon. And, you know, we know Chinese, last time they came, they stayed for a couple thousand years. I'd rather sniff French shit for 5 years than eat Chinese shit for the rest of my life. Well, I don't really like having any kind of authoritarian rule, but I'll tell you one thing. I believe that Trump would never leave office. And at least we'd have a checklist for President Biden. And subsequently, one would think President Harris on addressing what Trump has done to damage this country and to get us back on a path towards having a Republican form of government. And that would also mean that people who have participated in the insurrection in 2020 would be disqualified, who are members of Congress, like the ones who asked for pardons, when you can only be pardoned if you did something illegal. Mark Small, Civil Discourse Now, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and we'll schedule it for being streamed at 9:30. Take care.